Hello, my name is Abigail Salisbury, and I'm the Democratic nominee for the special election in District 34 in Pennsylvania's General Assembly. To tell you a little bit about me before I get started answering the questions that I've been provided, I'm a sole practitioner attorney here in Swissvale. You're in my office. And I have a law practice that provides reduced rate legal services to nonprofits and small businesses that otherwise might not be able to locate or afford legal representation. And I have spent the past 5 years on Swissvale Borough Council. I'm currently the chair of community initiatives because I enjoy doing a lot of community projects. I also have spent 2 years as council president. The slogan that you may have seen associated with my campaign, the service, safety, success concept, that comes directly from a leadership model that I developed when I was council president that I wanted us to focus on as a group. Service, because you're called a public servant. You should probably want to serve the public. I think that constituent services is a critical element for any elected official. Also, safety. What do I mean by that? Public safety, you should have appropriate and fair policing. We need to, in many cases, reform the way that we do police hiring in our communities. The boroughs are constrained by the borough code, but insofar as I could, I reformed the way that we engage in police hiring to try to make it more equitable, to reflect the values of our community. I think that people should be free from abusive policing, so that's an important element of that safety component. Also, environmental safety. The Pennsylvania Constitution guarantees us clean air, clean water, but I don't know that we always fulfill that. We need to live up to that. So that's an important element of safety to me. And finally, infrastructure safety. We have collapsing bridges, buildings, streets, sewers. We have so many problems from an aging and crumbling infrastructure that has not been properly maintained and is currently at the end of its useful life. So a critical element for me is infrastructure, rehabilitation, funding, reconstruction in our areas. So finally, success. What do I mean by success? Well, I think that we need to set people up for an opportunity where they can succeed. We need to appropriately fund schools so that kids have a really solid ground to build on, whether they want to go into a trade, they want to go to college, they want to start a business, whatever that might be. We need to encourage some of our communities to be able to improve their business districts in order to get more small businesses off the ground, because I really believe that that is the lifeblood and character of a community. As a small business attorney and a small business owner myself, I can tell you that it really makes a neighborhood and it really makes a community what its small businesses are like. So that's very important to me. So I've been asked a number of questions here that I'm going to answer. Number one is the state provides less than 40% of funding for public schools, leaving local communities to fund the rest. This leads to wide disparities of financial support for schools in your own legislative district. What legislative action would you propose to serve both students and taxpayers in your district? First off, in our society, we tend to pay for things that we value. The fact that we are underpaying teachers and underfunding schools does not reflect well on us. It does not reflect well to show that we value these public schools, which are indispensable parts of our society. We need to make sure that we are paying for them and reflecting the value that we say that we put on them. I would support legislation that fully funds public schools under the fair funding formula. We disproportionately impact students of color and poor communities when we force local school districts to hike up real estate taxes in order to try to fund their operations. We really, as a society, need to make sure that our public schools are appropriately funded, that our teachers are properly paid, that the buildings that our students learn in are properly maintained. And these are indispensable, incredibly valuable aspects of our society, and we need to make sure that we fund them in a way that reflects the value that they have for us. The next question is, what is your position on the right of Pennsylvania residents to make their own health care decisions? Pennsylvania residents have the right to make their own healthcare decisions without government interference. I am pro-choice as a candidate. I believe that people have their own right to make their own decisions about their healthcare. They deserve a right to have access to safe abortions. I also believe that people have a right to healthcare in general, that unfortunately too many people still don't have appropriate access to healthcare resources, in particular mental health resources. and dentistry. Unfortunately, people often undercount that as an important element of healthcare. So Pennsylvanians have the right to make their own decisions, absolutely without government interference. Question 3 is, over 70 constitutional amendments were proposed in the last legislative session. Where do you stand on the increasing use of constitutional amendments rather than legislation to govern Pennsylvania? Without giving a boring lawyer answer, the short version of my answer on this is basically that constitutional amendments are being overused. We need to not do that and just pass normal legislation as opposed to constantly engaging in constitutional amendments, which I believe are largely intended to circumvent normal legislative routes in order to make sweeping changes to our society. So those are my answers to those questions, and I truly appreciate your time and attention. Again, I'm Abigail Salisbury. I am the Democratic nominee for District 34 in the PA General Assembly. Thank you.